Hello, everybody. My name is Benny, and I'm the Fool's Apprentice. Today, I'm really excited to have a special guest on my channel today. Her name is Allie from Teau. She has her own
Hi.
channel, just like mine, and we're just going to have a chat today, to know each other a little better, and see how things are going on our channels. Hi, how are you doing, Allie?
I'm good. I'm so excited. How are you, Benny?
I'm doing pretty good. This has been in the works for like a month, right?
It has, that little thing called life.
Yeah, so I was like, is a month too far away? And then, I did a little outline for us. And then it just felt like forever away. And then all of a sudden this week came up and I'm like, oh my God,
All of a
it's coming
sudden it's
so fast.
here.
What do I do?
Yeah.
Um,
This
and
whole
did
year
you
I
do,
feel like has been that way though. I don't know how it's almost December of 2023 already. It blows my mind.
well, let me tell you, the older you get, the faster the year goes by. Because it is quite shocking that this year just went by so quickly.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, it really has flown. So, and I
Okay.
appreciated all the outlines and things that you did. I was like, he is so structured and organized, and I'm just a fly by the seat of your pants type of gal. So I really appreciated that you were ready.
Well, I am structured in some areas, and other areas I'm not. Like, I'm using a new platform. Okay, this is all new. This whole platform thing and figuring out which one you want to use. I did YouTube videos. I had Lisa Papez on, and we use StreamYard. So this one is Evmu, I think it's called.
Yeah,
And
I haven't
I
heard of
seem
this,
to
but
like
it's
this.
pretty great.
I actually quite like it, quite
Yeah.
a bit, but I was still trying to make sure I knew how to use it before we got on. So I'm not that structured. I should have had that down a while ago. But tell me about your channel, why you started the channel, and how your channel's been going for you.
So I started, like I feel a lot of people have here, over the period of 2020, the year that shall not be mentioned. Um, I actually just completely delved into tarot during that time. I had heard about it and was kind of familiar with it before, but I really just decided, you know what? I want to see what this is all about, and I just decided to make my first YouTube video.
Oh, okay. And so, did you have special equipment that you bought? Did you just use your phone? Did you have an outline of how you would do it, or was it all impromptu?
I used just my iPhone for the longest time on this little tripod, and I would prop it up on boxes, and that was just a whole interesting setup. And then I bought a little arm kit with this ring light that I'm now using and my phone above me. And I've recently just upgraded to an actual camera that I use to shoot my videos, and I feel like it's a whole world of difference, but that's really it. I don't feel like I'm necessarily half as fancy as a lot of bigger YouTubers, I think.
Yeah.
But it just kind of
So,
all happened.
and what kind of camera did you end up getting?
Um, Actually, it's sitting right in front of me. It is a Sony ZV-1F.
Oh, I
It's
have the
just a little
Sony.
vlogging camera.
Yeah, I have the Sony EV1 or
Okay.
ZV1, and I'm thinking about upgrading. But I'm thinking, do I really need to upgrade? So I think that's a YouTuber thing where we're always thinking about our equipment. Do we upgrade? What can I add?
Absolutely. It's a chronic thought in my brain, and then I think about it. I don't upload often enough to worry about it, and I feel like my camera was a big enough decision for now that I'm like, all right, I'm good for the moment.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I did go on your channel. Actually, I'm subscribed. I have been for a while.
Well, thank
I
you.
do know that I have noticed that you do have time in between your videos. You don't seem to have a set schedule. And is that just because you wait till you're inspired? You wait till you get a new deck or a new spread, or is it what is it for you?
You
Is it
know,
life?
it kind of is life. I think I constantly walk a line between I know that my channel isn't growing very much. I actually just recently passed the 500 subscriber mark, which was huge. I didn't ever think that I would get there. But my numbers kind of trickle. They stay consistent. But it's a constant juggle of I know that if I posted more And if I engaged with my social media more, then I know that that would create growth. But at the same time, I do kind of wait until I feel in the mood to create content. And there's some people that do it smarter, where they take a weekend and they film lots of videos and they space it out. And I'm just not there.
Yeah, I try. I try to do it all on a Saturday, and
Yeah.
I'm about 50-50 when I actually get it done and when I don't get it done. So then what happens is I do an extra video on Sunday or the night before, when I want to get it out. I try to have one on Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays.
Yeah, you've got
That
pretty consistent posting. It's pretty
Yeah,
great.
thanks. But when I can't do three, I'll do my Saturdays and Wednesdays. So
Yeah,
it just varies, but I try to be very consistent. And then sometimes it's a challenge to try to get it all done and get it out there. I think that's one of the bigger challenges. It's trying to stay consistent.
it is. And it's there is 100% no shade to people who film deck walkthroughs. I've done multiple myself. We all have. But for me, I got to a point where I thought, well, that just kind of encourages buying more decks unless I reach back to decks that I've had for a long time, which again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but also so many people have walked through the decks that I've had for a while that I don't feel as if I can make it interesting enough to do that kind of stuff. So it's like, well, what, you know, I don't have anything original to post, but
Well,
that's certainly a me issue.
well, I've noticed that because I do a lot of deck walkthroughs, but I like buying decks. I've always
Oh
posted. I
yeah,
think I think decks are like mini museums or artwork, and so I really love how artists like take a card and make it their own, especially when it's the three of swords or the eight of wands. I know, but when I
Three of
find a
Swords is
good
a
one,
favorite card, but yes, yeah,
yes, I love when they do that. Um, but I've noticed when people do walkthroughs, one of the things that I appreciate is one, I might learn one or two things that I hadn't even thought about when it comes to that particular card. Also, I might get a nugget here or two in a whole walkthrough that benefits me in my growing with um, watching somebody do a walkthrough or watching 10 channels do the same walkthrough. Like
sure.
right now, I'm watching all the Bohemian Gothic walkthroughs because I'd
Oh
like to hear
man,
what other people have to say. Um, yes. Well, what is that all about?
the Bohemian Gothic is just that's the deck for me. That's it.
You have it.
I do.
Which edition?
Oh, I have multiple. Um,
That's fine. There's another woman that I follow on YouTube. She has all of them. I'm so jealous.
I have a first edition, a third edition, and then I have the mini. I found a mini online, and then I just got our new copies. And oh man, and the
It's
big limited
gorgeous.
edition deck, I
Yeah,
may have bawled as I opened the box. So I was like, oh my god,
it's
it's here!
huge. It is
It's
huge.
incredible. It's incredible. It's the best way to see that deck, and yeah, I wept.
I about wept when I hit record and it just started recording when I did my walkthrough. I was so disappointed. It was a horrible moment for me. I got overwhelmed emotionally. I had to go sit down. And it took me a
Yeah,
little while to kind of calm down. I'm like, Benny, calm down. Like, please, you got the deck. It's not that big of a deal.
yes.
Life is not over.
But it's heartbreaking though. Like my heart broke
Yeah.
for you. I would have been the exact same way. In fact, I applaud you for actually posting another one so that you could actually share that with us because I would have just been like, nope, can't do it. I'm too upset now. So I applaud you for recording, and I loved your walkthrough, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. So, I was going to ask you something else regarding. So, when you come up with an idea of a video, um, generally, how does that come up for you? Is it just something that you think about and you're like, oh, that could be a video? Or do you have like videos that you tend to like to do?
Um, you know, I've tried to become just more original and authentic, I guess you could say, because at first, you kind of, or at least I did, you almost see it as a, I want to see how big I can grow. I want to see how far I can take this. And then it becomes, well, I don't necessarily want to only do the two or three types of videos that get views because, again, if the same deck has been walked through 100 times, I don't feel that there's anything for me to add. So I do wait for things that inspire me, and I've kind of tried to take it in a direction where I just post what I want when I want. Like my one of my last videos was just I set up my camera and I reorganized just this whole area and I like set up my deck for spooky season. And I don't even know what I talked about. But, I just rambled on and people seemed to like that. So it's just yeah, to answer your question and actually get to the question, uh I just I go for it when I feel it.
Okay. I actually try to, one of my challenges is trying to figure out, okay, so I see other people and they have something that is their own. Like, I'm thinking, Lisa Papez has her video where she looks at upcoming cards that are being published.
Oh,
And
her
that's a
hot
big thing
takes,
that
yeah.
she does. Yeah, she does that on
Mm-hmm.
her. That's her thing. I've seen one
Yeah,
or two other people, but that's one of the
it's
things
her
that
thing.
makes, yeah, it's her thing.
Right, right.
So trying to find my thing is
Mm-hmm.
like, what can I bring to the table that I think would be interesting? So that took a while, but I found two things that I think are going to work for me. It is doing interviews with YouTubers who do
Mm-hmm.
tarot, because one of the things in watching the videos is I find some people very interesting. I find their walkthroughs interesting, but I mean, I'd like to be able to ask them questions. I'd like to get to know them a little bit better. And so I said, well, why don't I see if somebody would come on? So I shot big and I asked Lisa Papez if she would come on. And
Yeah.
she was so gracious and so kind. And she came on, which was great. So that was
She's so
one.
sweet.
I love her. And then the second one is I started a new series for me called um, hashtag 5 decks I would save, blah, blah, blah. So I already have three. Hashtag tarot decks I would save from a fire, oracle decks I'd save from a flood, and I just posted animal decks I'd save from extinction. So I'm just going to do five saved from, and
That's
so
awesome.
we'll see how that goes. And then I got hashtag Saturdays. So every
Yes.
Saturday I do a hashtag from now or way back in the day.
Well, it's
So
cool too that you're breaching backwards because there are a lot of hashtags that were big once upon a time, but we haven't seen them for a while. So the fact that you're bringing them back, that's really cool.
I think it's exciting because, for me, they're all brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of them are new for me. So I actually have a list going, and I put a little check mark when I get it done. I'm hoping there'll be a day where I can get them all done.
Yeah.
But it's only 4 a month, so I suspect that'll probably be impossible because every month there are a couple coming out.
Yeah.
So have you thought about trying to develop a little series of your own or a little niche that you would like to call your own?
The closest thing that I've come to that is I did develop my own hashtag and I filmed it. It was hashtag tuned into tarot.
Mm.
I am a very musically inclined person. I love listening to music, and so I took specific decks that make me think of specific songs, and I kind of
Oh,
showed
okay.
them and talked about the song as I was flipping through some cards. The only problem with that video is, of course, you can't play the music in the background while you're looking through the deck because of copyright.
Right.
So I just kind of talked about some of the lyrics of the song and how it kind of tied in for me, and I just posted the song titles down below for people to look up. Somebody did repost it, but someone did a VR to it, which I was really grateful for, and it was fun to watch. But it was kind of a difficult one to make just because you can't put the music in. So
Yeah.
I tried that, and it fell short. So I'm still brainstorming.
I'm trying to think. There is a copyright rule. I think it, I could be completely wrong, but you know how people use videos from movies or cartoons or something, but they're very short. I
Mm-hmm.
think you can post, but there's a limited amount of time. So I wonder if it's
Yeah.
the same thing for songs.
I think you can only post about 10 seconds of a song,
Yeah,
which is not enough time. But
yeah.
again, that was my first truly original idea I felt that I thought could make work. And so I tried and it kind of flopped, but hey, it's at the end of the
Well,
day YouTube is just for fun, and I have to
yeah.
remind myself of that.
Yes, I can be very uptight, and so sometimes I take things way too seriously. So like when I started this channel, I can get a little obsessive. I did all these YouTube videos. I looked at like 10 different cameras. I looked at like 10
Yeah.
different microphones and stands and for some reason I just couldn't get my brain to say it's okay, Benny, to use your iPhone. It's okay. And my brain was like, no, I need a professional light. I
You
need
need
a
a
professional
setup.
micro. Yeah. And so I do have a cute little setup that works for me.
Yeah,
But did I need it right off the bat? No. Am I grateful that I have it? Yes. But I also know not everybody can do that.
sure. Well, and I mean, a lot of the successful accounts that we watch, Lisa, Don Michelle, they all have talked about before how they started just with their iPhone. I
Hmm.
mean, start with what you got. It doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be fancy, but I'm right there with you and my brain is just like that where I'm like, no, it's not enough. I think it's the Virgo in me that I get very like it has to be right or it's not acceptable.
Yeah.
So,
What are some of the biggest challenges that you faced in learning how to record yourself, edit, put it up?
I tend to be very rambly and talk in circles. I don't know if you've already noticed this, but I'm a conversationalist, right? So my conversations, my thoughts just go where they want to, and sometimes I have to remember to circle back and make it to a point. So my editing can sometimes be a nightmare. Very,
Mm.
very much so, cutting and splicing large sections where I go off on a tangent that was not necessary. That
I
and
think
just,
everybody's done that.
oh man, 5 minutes at least throughout my video of um and so like, oh, it's horrible to watch it back.
Oh
No,
my
you
God.
can't. You don't want that in there.
I am trying to get rid of my transitional words. So, you know, and it's a challenge learning how to take just conversation that you do with people around you to putting it on camera and trying to get rid of those. And I've become very aware of them. So when I hear somebody talking, they easily pop up. And I can, if someone does it a lot, I can get distracted. So my fear is that we'll do the same thing for a viewer, is that it will become a distraction.
Well, and it's difficult too because it's not. It's a place holding thing, right? Because you're talking to yourself in a room, not with other people. So it flows and it makes more sense in context of an actual personal conversation. But when you're by yourself, it's not. It doesn't come across the same way. It's strange.
Okay. What do you use to edit your videos?
I now just use my iMovie on my iPad,
Okay.
and I just edit it
Yeah.
that way. It's super easy, just because a lot of my stuff is cutting sections out. So I found
Mm-hmm.
it really, really easy. I'm not fancy. I mean, even my video, I don't have a video intro, or I should say, like a channel intro.
Mm-hmm.
Marine at the Waves of Your Soul, I love hers. Hers is beautiful. I don't even have anything like that. So my editing is mainly just splicing. So I keep it simple.
Yeah, I just learned how to do transitions. So my first video that I just posted had a transition when I said, let's flip the camera. Um, and I did iMovie. It's really easy to use, but I tried the Final Cut Pro because they give you 90 days for free,
Mm-hmm.
and just it increased the image quality of my videos just by using it. So for
Oh,
me, it was worth the purchase in getting it.
sure.
But like you look very clear. You look very crisp uh, on
Thank you.
on your video. But and it's funny that you mentioned the intro. I actually contacted somebody on Fiverr because I do want an intro, and then I want a little logo as well.
Yeah. That's just those little things that take your channel to the next level when you're, trying to make them look cleaner and neater and more professional. Like, you know what you're doing a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of my goals. I have like 20 goals. One of them is improving the quality of my videos.
There you go. It's you'll see it too. I mean, from your first videos to even now, I'm sure you can see the difference. Like,
Oh my God, my
I
first
can tell that
videos
your
were
stuff has
horrible.
improved.
I
It's
looked so orange when I first started. I was
We all did.
mortified.
We all did. What is lighting? That's one of the biggest things, and it's crazy. Like we were talking about before we started. I'm literally, the room is dark right now, which does not feel natural to me. It's weird. I feel like I'm sitting in a cave, but it
And it
translates
looks
better
like
than
you're,
having the overhead light on.
and you look bright. I mean, everything looks, it looks like you have the lights on.
It's weird. It's just all about finding what works. But yeah, even looking back on my first couple videos, I'm like, oh, these were so horrible. But hey,
I,
at the time, I was like, this looks great. I'm ready. Let's post it.
I am looking, because there's two YouTubers that have the kind of lighting I want.
Hmm.
One of them is Garden Goddess Tarot. Do you know her?
Oh, I love Thea's channel. Yeah.
But if you look at her videos, it's like this dark,
It's always moody.
I love that, but for
Yeah.
some reason I can't figure it out, and it's driving me crazy.
She's a
But I know
magician.
it's probably a Lux, or maybe she just knows how to use whatever program she's using. So I'm going to be painting my walls a darker blue,
Oh, there you
making
go.
them accent walls, and see if that kind of helps. And the little lightings, like
Yeah.
those people have. I'm trying, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's an exciting process. One thing I would encourage is just like try to enjoy it. Like, yes, it is a major, like, I want everything right, and I'm so there with you. But I have to remind myself of this too. Like, YouTube is just fun. It's not
Yes,
necessarily what's paying my bills right now. So I just gotta relax, and it's just supposed to be an outlet. So
I do enjoy it. I do have fun. I have moments where it feels like a job, but it's very far and few between. Because I will tell you that I like to see how many people are actually watching my videos.
mhm.
The number
Yeah,
of people, I find it very exciting.
absolutely. I've tried to figure out if I can see the actual list of people who subscribed to me just out of
Oh,
curiosity, and I can't figure that out. But I'm just, yeah, looking at views and stuff. It's gratifying and it's satisfying to know that
yeah.
something that you're putting out is being appreciated by people.
I really, you know what really touches me is a YouTuber that I subscribe to making a comment on one of my videos. That just feels so warm to know that there's another TerraTuber who really is appreciating the work that I do. So I think that's great.
Oh, every time Don or Lisa comments, I'm like, huh, thanks.
Yeah. Um, so tell me about your tarot journey. Like, how did you get involved with tarot? Do you even remember the first tarot deck that you got?
I do. I do. So I had a friend who was into reading tarot, and he kind of told me about it, and I was very intrigued. I mean, before that, I was raised in a very religious family, Catholic, and so very traditional, uh, and I'd never engaged in anything like tarot. And my friend was into it, and he kind of told me about it, and I was intrigued. And then he took me to a metaphysical shop, and we found a deck, and he got it for me, and that opened a whole slew of excitement about it. And it was the Morgan Greer tarot deck, and I've still got it
Okay.
to this day. It's like sitting right here.
How long ago was that?
That must have been in 2016. So I had it
Okay.
for a good amount of time before I really actually learned the cards. Once it was the midst of 2020, I had acquired like two or three decks by that point, but I wasn't really reading them. And then it was my Crow Tarot by MJ Cullinan that I got, and I really sat down during COVID, and I was like, you know what? I want to learn tarot. I've had these decks, but I don't use them. I want to learn. And so then I finally committed the cards to memory and just started making lists about the card meanings and watching TarotTube and people explaining how to read tarot.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it just sort of exploded. And
Yeah.
it's become a part of my daily life now, and I'm really really thankful for it. It feels very right. It's like the most spiritually aligned thing that I have found for myself, I think. So
Are you comfortable with the cards, like knowing the meanings and them coming to you and seeing the
Hmm.
cards work together?
I am, and sometimes I personally I memorize the card meanings, but then once you lay them out, sometimes the meanings are completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Six of Swords may not mean moving on from something or a transition period. It may not even mean that. It may mean something wholly different just within the context of that reading that I may have never used the Six of Swords for. But you go with it. And that's, I think, just learning how to build upon your intuition and letting that kind of flow and not fight that too is a
Yeah.
challenge. Yeah.
I'm not completely comfortable with all the cards, especially the court cards. I haven't even gotten to the court cards. But I do use, I do know a lot of them. I might have just one word. I did Lisa Papez's Tarot on Training Wheels,
Yeah,
so
those are
that
really
really
good.
helped. I love
Yeah,
that. I recommend it to every. If you're new, take it. It's amazing.
absolutely. Yeah.
And but and also just watching walkthroughs has really helped me kind of get a glimpse and hearing it over. I'm an auditory learner, a doing learner,
Mm-hmm.
and so that has helped. I do it every morning, and I have noticed that the cards kind of tend to change meanings based on the card before and after, which
Mm-hmm.
it's really really cool. For me, it was like when I first learned how to play Texas Hold'em poker game.
Yeah,
It's easy to learn, but it's learning all the nuances, learning how to read people, learning how to bet, all that kind of stuff. It's all that extra stuff that kind of makes the game
absolutely.
exciting. Same
Yeah.
thing for this. So, what are some of the challenges that you faced in learning the tarot?
Just like you said, the court cards too tripped me up a lot. Um, and it still to this day, they may even intertwine a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
My Knight of Swords may carry a little bit more Page of Swords energy, or vice versa. I may kind of see them more like the other at times, or just have them completely flipped in my brain for whatever reason. So court cards
Mm-hmm.
are a whole energy in themselves. So that was one challenge. And just committing 78 different ideas to memory.
Yeah.
That it's a lot. It's a whole lot. It took me a couple of months to actually be able to flip through an entire tarot deck after shuffling and go, okay, I know this one. This means this. Okay, this means this. Okay, right off the bat, I don't know this one. Okay, I don't know this one, but I know this one, and it's just time. It took a minute.
And do, so you learn, it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the card meaning isn't just a very, I'm trying to get on camera, a very static meaning, that it actually you have a very free flowing kind of reading to a card based on the question and the cards around it.
I think so. Yeah, I've sometimes the cards just if you have them out in a spread, they want to say something different than okay, Six of Pentacles is generosity. It is the balance. Are you the giver? Are you the taker? That's the foundational meaning that I carry for the Six of Pentacles. But in the context of a reading, it may mean just completely something different. And I go with that. I don't put pressure on myself to only keep it narrow one way.
I'm the exact same way. I really rely on my intuition a lot. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
comes up, I go with it and see where it leads. I tend to just look at the cards a little bit, as a whole, and then slowly kind of unravels and kind of gives me a reading.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do you ever
what do you
find
do?
yourself like moving cards around? Like, I actually feel like this one needs to go over here. Do you ever rearrange your cards once you lay them based on feeling?
I don't. No, I don't because, well, yes and no. I don't because they came out in that order for a reason.
Yeah.
However, the third, let's say I have a 5 card spread, the third card may be the prominent card that really is sticking out to me. So that becomes the main theme. And then I read the cards based on that one card, or there might be 2 cards that really stick out. And
There you
so
go.
it gives me an idea of where I need to be grounded first before I start the reading.
Sure. That makes sense. So you almost do
It,
it without moving the cards
mm-hmm,
physically. That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now there is like I have I haven't talked to him in a while, but I have a tarot mentor. He gave me a spread, but that spread specifically has to be read from left to right. You can't
Oh,
go
interesting.
around.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm going to do a video on that spread
Oh,
once I
I'd
finish
be
because
interested to
it's an
see that.
assignment. Yeah,
Yeah, that
it's
sounds
a
really
very
cool.
interesting one, and it's a big spread. It's a big one.
Ooh.
Uh, he really believes that one or two cards. It's nice at the beginning, but you really need to like push yourself and do larger readings.
Yeah.
This one particularly was because I asked a question and I really wanted to start doing readings. But generally, 3 to 5, I think, is where he wants people who are new that he
Hmm.
works with to start really like practicing a reading.
Sure. Yeah, 3 to 5. 3 to 5 is a really good sweet spot for me too. I agree.
Yeah, I stayed at 3 for a long, long time because I found a spread that I love, which is the oracle card is in the middle.
Hmm.
It's the message of the day, and I got it from one or two tarot tubers, but I can't remember who exactly. The left card is what can get in the way of me accomplishing my goal, and then the right one is what can I use or what can I focus on to accomplish my goal for the day.
Okay. I love that. I know Don Michelle really pioneered the whole oracle card in the middle with two tarot on the outside, but reading that way specifically, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, and you said you use them in a practice. How do you use yours on a daily practice?
Most of the days I will do a little daily 3 card spread, unless I have something that I want to kind of flush out. Because again, just as I am naturally, I'm a very conversational reader.
Mm-hmm.
So I just talk to my decks. I may lay 2 or 3 cards out just to get the basis of the message out, and then kind of be like, okay, and then I'll think of a question that I'm thinking of, and then I'll pull a card for that, and then it'll be like, okay, but then how does that tie back into this? And so I'll read more, and I kind of just flush it out that way.
Oh,
But
that's cool. I
typically, I'll
like
just
that.
pull. Yeah, I'm. It's organized chaos. I just talk, and I let my cards just tell me what they want.
Yeah, I use them every morning. Let me rephrase that. I try to use them every morning,
Hmm.
especially during the week. But mine, I use them as part of my spiritual practice. And so I come into my space, I get very grounded, and then what I'll do is I'll ask a question, and it's always about how can I be of service? How can I be a better person? How do I go spiritually? How do I connect to my uh, to this big universe that we have? It's always something about how, as a person, how can I be a better version of myself? How do I become the person I want to be?
That's awesome.
And
That's a
so
really
that,
great place to start.
and I think it's really, really helped. And what it does is it invests me in the reading and it invests me in the cards
Hmm.
because it's such a practice and it's a very dedicated practice for me. Like you've noticed in my videos to my right hand side, I always have a painting of
Yes.
some deity. I have 4 paintings that I really love that I had commissioned, and they're like very important. I don't follow any one religion. It's just not. It doesn't work for me. But
Yeah.
I'm very spiritually grounded, and there are teachings in all different religions and spiritual practices that really resonate with me, and that's how I use the
Absolutely.
cards.
Sure. Yeah. It's. I always tell people when they ask, what tarot is or what I do with it. I always see it kind of as almost like a form of self therapy, um,
Mm-hmm.
or introspection. Now, I that doesn't necessarily mean that I totally mean to take the place of professional counseling with a medical
Correct.
professional, but it does give you something to help dive into yourself, just like you said, for self improvement. It brings things to the surface that you may realize but not have in the forefront of your mind. So it's extremely useful for that. It's
Yeah.
it's not something dark and scary like so many people believe, and that's so sad. But I really
Yeah.
do. I think there's a renaissance happening with spirituality and tarot, and I think it's awesome because people are finally seeing it for the tool that it is.
Yeah. Uh, I do use them for other things, but that's the main reason. And I find them to be very helpful in practical situations as well. Like I had a meeting to go to, and I was really nervous about the meeting. I pulled some cards, asked what was my primary purpose and what I should focus on, and it worked out really well. Like I listened to the cards, I applied what they were telling me, and it turned out great. And I was like, wow, this is amazing.
It works.
It
It
does,
works.
and
Yeah.
that's why I continue to do it. So, have you ever worked with a mentor?
I haven't. I
Okay.
I love the idea of it, but I just kind of throwing myself into it the way that I did. I never knew that that kind of thing existed. So, but I love the idea of that. That's fantastic.
I really enjoyed it. We've met 3 times. I'm going to schedule our fourth visit, and I like it because it gives me somebody to talk to and throw things out there, and then it's just trying to figure out how to work with a mentor because I've never really worked with a tarot. I don't have anybody around me that actually does tarot. So,
Yeah.
YouTube, these kind of conversations. My mentor, that's it. That's all I
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
And so, but I have found his insight to be very enlightening. And then he'll talk about something, and I'm like, I never thought about that. And so that's a nugget that I can keep in my little toolbox that I have. Would you ever
Absolutely.
consider mentorship?
I really would. I because I still believe I've been reading for a couple years now, and I there's so much more to learn. I haven't even begun to scratch the edge of the edge of the edge of the surface.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, and just for the different perspective it provides, I think a mentorship would actually be very, very interesting and worthwhile.
And let me see. When it comes to your channel, what are your goals in the future for your channel? Or have you even thought about it?
You know, I haven't necessarily planned on growing the way that I once did. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't I've just kind of wanted to take the pressure off of myself. So I do want to try and post more. That is one goal that I do have, is to kind of be more active, because again, nothing changes, nothing evolves without action, right? In
Mm-hmm.
the universe favors growth, but that can't happen without effort. So posting more is definitely something that I aspire to do. Um, but beyond that, I'm kind of interested to see where it takes me.
Okay. So, what are some of your favorite decks that you own? The
Bohemian
Bohemian
Gothic.
Gothic. Yeah.
1000%. Um, and I do have a copy of the Spolia Tarot, which is,
Oh my God.
I know,
Oh,
my heart broke for you that day. It was so close, Benny. It was so close.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you why. Um, I was very apprehensive, to
Yeah,
be honest. Part of it was because one, I'm just very cautious on buying things on
sure.
online, and she was selling it at a price that I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a really good price, and so I just backed out.
yeah.
Um, do I regret it? No, because I do listen to my intuition. It was just telling me, and if I don't feel like it's uh, a good chance, like because I'm in Las Vegas when I'm buying something from somebody else. So
Yeah.
what are the odds? And so I believe that if I'm supposed to have it, I will have it. That one is on the top of my list, literally on the
It'll
top of my list.
it'll come around. It'll come around. They always I've had several decks on my list that have, after however long, they somehow find their way, and I welcome them with open arms. So I'm a full believer. It'll come to you. I
I've
just
been very
know it.
lucky. I have a unicorn deck list, and I have gotten a lot of them surprisingly.
What decks are on your unicorn list right now?
The spoiler tarot for sure.
Yeah.
The Alice tarot from Baba Studios. The Tarot Prague also from Baba Studios. They're supposedly
Both
they're getting
are
both
being
good
reprinted.
printing,
Yep.
so I have a good chance of getting those. I'd have to look at my list. Oh, let me pull my list up. Do you have any on? Do you have a unicorn list?
I have to say my unicorn list was pretty short, and I have now achieved my unicorn decks pretty much
Yeah,
for the
mine's
most
pretty
part.
low as well.
Yeah.
The spoiler chair is number one. This is a silly. It's not a silly deck, but it's a very youthful, young deck for like little kids could love it. It's called Lisa did a little mini walkthrough called the Buddha Doodles deck of cards.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Oh, I love it. It is so sweet. And
Yeah.
then there's we'll talk about masculine decks in a minute, but there's the divine feminine and masculine reunited oracle deck.
Okay. I don't think I've heard of that
It's
one.
an older one.
Okay.
Those really are the three. And oh well, that's not true. There's I don't have it on here. The card cardo pastel
The Carta
tarot deck.
Postal, whatever that
Yes,
one is.
that
Yeah.
that one. But I've heard a lot of people saying they've ordered them and they've not gotten them. I've emailed the creator. I haven't heard a response, so I don't trust buying it from there.
Yeah.
So that's on
That
my
one
list
was
as well.
strange. Yeah. Well,
And
luckily
then
those two Babas are being reprinted. That's so
oh
exciting.
yeah, and then I got my right here, the mythical creatures.
Mm-hmm.
I was so lucky.
It's
Like
a beautiful deck.
I
Because I
literally
don't think
was
they're
like hitting
reprinting that one anymore.
no, they're
Yeah.
not. 30 decks and that was it. So I was very. So I have one, two, three. I have four Baba Studio decks. I couldn't believe it.
Nice.
So I need two more, and then they have the Fairy Tale one, which that is so rare. I see it every once in a posting, but that's it.
And I've asked them, I'm like, would you ever consider reprinting Fairy Tale? Because there's so many people that want it. And they're like, I'm sorry, no. It's like,
I wonder why.
why? Yeah, that was my
Yeah, I was
question
wondering. Like, I
too.
wonder why.
I'm like,
But
but
yeah,
you have a need.
I understand that this is these two next one printings, and that's it.
That'll be it. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that amazing?
Well,
Like,
and their Baroque Cats one, or their cat, the Bohemian Cat Theater.
oh yes, yes,
That
yes.
one will be coming out too. Which I'm not a cat person, but that looks really cool.
We got two of the cards,
Mm-hmm.
and through my walkthrough, I talked to them. I was really impressed with the quality of them, but I'm not a cat person,
Yeah.
and it blows my mind. It blows my mind that when I go to Kickstarter and there's a cat Oracle or Turtle, it sells like crazy. But there's one for dogs, and I'm like,
And they're not
maybe
funded.
it'll make it. And like, dog's man's best friend really? Is it?
I would kill for Baba Studios to make a dog deck instead
That
of
would
a
be
cat
cute.
deck. That would be the coolest thing ever. I'm so sad they're getting out of tarot altogether.
Yeah, which is going to make all their decks much more expensive to get as time goes
Yes.
on.
And impossible. Yeah. But
Okay,
we did
so
find you a Botan tarot. That one was a unicorn.
yes,
That one.
you were so amazing in doing it. For people who don't know, tell them your side and I'll tell them my side.
So Benny and I had been talking on the side about whatever, and he mentioned that he was looking for a Botan, and one day I logged on to Facebook and I saw someone selling one. And I tagged Benny in a comment and I said, "Oh, hey, look, Benny, here's a Botan." And he messaged me later and he was like, "I got the deck."
I
And then he
know.
told me the backstory, which I'll let you tell that side. But I was so excited because every time I see a deck that someone talks about and tag them, I get so invested. I'm like, tell me if you got it. Tell me when it gets to you. Let me know if you love it.
And I think that is super sweet because not everybody does that. And I would not have been able to get the deck if you had not tagged me. And so I got the message. I went on there, and it was your tag. Then there was somebody who said they were interested, and then it was me. And of course, they go in order. So I messaged the woman, and I said, "Hey, I'm really interested in the deck. My friend tagged me in it first.
Yeah,
Will
I
that
think
count
I
as
commented like a minute after she'd post. Like she had just posted it. So I was like, oh, Benny.
yeah?" And so I said, does that count as me being the first person as getting this deck? And she says, yes, it does. I said, can you send me some pictures? And so what I do, just so people know, to protect myself financially, is I ask for two specific cards that are, and I never ask for the same ones. And then I ask for them to write the date, today's date, month, day, and year, and take a picture of it. And if it comes back, then I know that they really have it.
Mm-hmm.
I also asked for them to show me the back of the card so I could see that it's the back of the card. And she did that, and I bought it. And
Yeah.
I didn't get the blue gilding. I got the gold, but I didn't care. I had the deck. And then I found a large book, which,
Yeah, that's
do you
hard to
have the
find.
Botan?
I do. It is right there.
Oh, yeah, I see it. I see it. Do you have the large book?
I do. I found one at this random print shop in New York. It was like $8. Don't know
I
how,
got,
don't know why,
I got mine
but
in Mexico, from Mexico,
oh, there you go.
uh, and it was $8.
Perfect. I was so crushed though because it came media mail. When things come media mail, you have to assume that people will understand media mail. Oh, probably a book or a poster or something that shouldn't be bent. Benny, I
Yes.
go out to my mailbox, it's like this in my mailbox.
Oh,
Luckily, it didn't permanently crease it bad enough to where it damaged it. But I was like, why would you bend that? It says media mail. Like,
that's
media
that.
is something not to bend.
I have one of those mailboxes that are like this tall, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I live in a condominium, and so all of our units have them in one specific spot. I don't know why I keep going off camera.
It is,
And
yeah.
mine was in there all messed up, and so I opened it up, and it wasn't creased. I was very lucky, but I was pretty upset because it's not the first time they've done that to me.
It made me so sad.
I
But
would walk.
again,
I mean,
I'm glad the damage wasn't permanent. But I was just like, come on.
do you have a deck that got away?
uh, so I had the Fairy Tale Tarot at one point by Baba Studios.
What?
And I was trying to
And
get me a Bone Stone and Earth Flesh.
uh,
So I did it. And I have since found a new fairy tale.
what?
I don't, Benny, I'm telling you, manifest it. My friend and it will come. I promise. It took a long time.
It's not on my. I didn't even realize it until right now. That's not on my unicorn list because I don't think I'd ever get it.
Put it on there.
I'm gonna put it on there.
Put it on there, and we will find you a fairy tale tarot. I'm going to make it a personal mission again. I don't
Oh
think
my god.
I don't think I'm normal, but I get invested in other people's stuff as much as I do my own. Like, you want this deck? Got it. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for you
No,
because it helps.
my number one is the spoiler right now. That's the one I
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Period. Um, and they so you got the bone stone and earth as well.
No, that one got sold from under me.
Oh, probably somebody paid more.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And I told this person because they wanted a pretty significant price for it, and I understood at the time, but now it's going mass market too, so I'm not as
yeah.
upset. But yeah, I said, well, will you hold it for me? Like, I will put down half of what you're asking, and then I just need to wait until I get paid again. But, like, I'm willing to give you my half that I've made. And they were like, sure. And I didn't send it yet. They said, we can deal with it till next week. Like, it's fine. And then they came back the next day and said, I'm sorry, someone else offered me 100 over what I was asking, so I went ahead and sold it. And I was kind of like,
Got it.
okay.
Well,
But
yeah, it's coming out mass market. I'm really excited about it because I seriously contemplated buying it from her for $444. But then a lot of people were really upset because I was reading a lot of the comments. And so it made me pause. And I paused enough where I found out that it was going to go mass market.
yeah, there was a whole big controversy too about controversy. That's a new word. controversy about when it came out too. I don't even fully understand it, but lots of people were up in arms about that deck. I don't know exactly what all happened, but yeah,
Okay. And
they finally
then,
got away.
so last couple of things that I want to know is um, books. What do you have any books that you really like?
So I really like Benabel Lynn's Book of Maps. It is
Really?
giant. It's a big.
Book
It
of
is
Maps?
the Book
It's
of
not the
Maps.
one. Is it the one that everybody? No, that's holistic tarot.
No, yeah, it's not holistic
Yeah.
tarot. It is a whole book. I think it comes from lulu.com, I think, technically to get printed. But it's her book of maps.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's huge. This thing is tarot, a history course in a book. Like,
Very
I
cool.
could study this thing for years and never be bored. Um, so using that with her Spirit Keepers deck, but also just to learn the history of tarot because she's got a lot of background and there's so much more than tarot in that book. I mean, she talks about I Ching, she talks about astrology. So that's a crazy great resource.
How long have you had it for?
I got it when I pre-ordered her deck, so it's been a couple years now.
You know what? I think that would be a great book to review on your channel.
I I think so too. I've just got to like tackle more of it first because even now I'm just kind of like I read like 5 pages and I'm like, okay, I got to put my brain down for the day because
Yeah,
she's so intelligent and she knows so much. She is a fount
yeah,
of knowledge and it's incredible. But it's just like I almost don't even feel smart enough to be using this book.
yeah. I
It's
feel that way with
intimidating.
some books.
It's
Rachel
intimidating.
Pollack's last published book, The Soul. Some I can't remember. I'm really bad with memory. It's
I
the
know
Green
I
Book.
know the one you're talking about. Like it's not Soul Circle, but Forest of Souls, maybe
Yeah, I
something like
went.
that.
It was going to be a book that Lisa Pup has. You know that she does a book club. I
Mm-hmm.
started reading it, and I'm like, this is way over my head. I need more time.
Rachel Pollack was another fount. You know,
Yeah,
78 Degrees
and
of Wisdom is good though too.
I have it, and I reference it.
Yep.
Any who are your YouTube? I got to you go tos for you.
Uh, Lisa obviously is a huge one. I think for a lot of us who are on YouTube, she's
Yeah.
awesome. I really like Dawn Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Patreon member of hers, and so she does every month. She does a coffee and cards video with us where
Mm-hmm.
she just flips through her decks that she's bought over the month. So it's really fun to be a Patreon member um, for her channel. It's a great time. And then uh, Krista at Crochet Witch Wears. She's wonderful.
Yes. Yep.
Thea at Garden Goddess. Um, yeah, those are some of my tops. Who do you like to watch?
I watch Lisa all the time. I do her Patreon membership. Dawn Michelle, I do her Patreon membership. In fact, I've actually have talked with her, and we've emailed back and forth, messenger as well.
She's so
Uh,
wonderful.
yeah,
They're both
she's no
so
longer.
approachable.
Yeah, they're so sweet and giving of their time.
Mm-hmm.
Katie Flowers, I love Katie Flowers. She's a big one for me. I
I
know.
miss
But
Katie so much.
have you gone to her book channel?
I haven't. I
Yeah,
haven't.
she's a sweet woman, but she just focuses on the books now.
Okay.
And then Kelly at The Truth and Story.
She intimidates me. She's another great one. She's wonderful, but she's another Benabel win.
She
I'm
has
just like Kelly. I don't.
she,
You're too smart.
she is amazing, and the fact that she knows so much divination, all like she can intertwine
Everything.
them, she can work them together. She's amazing. I actually took a course with her, a live course where we met every Saturday.
Oh,
Let
cool.
me- okay, if you're wanting a course, Truth and Story is the course that you want to go to that you're going to pay. I paid $75. We did 5 weekends, minimum 2 to 3 hours each one.
And it's just you and her,
No. It's like a group of
like a
us,
group. Okay.
but it's not a big group, but
Cool.
it is worth every penny. I would have paid double the price easy
For
because of all the
sure.
content. and she gives you all these resources, and you get to keep the videos for free forever.
Oh, nice. That
Yeah.
that in itself is huge.
Yes.
So you're not having to
Yes.
sit there and write notes like one time this is it. It's the only time I'll hear this.
And what I love also is that you can ask questions and she'll answer them.
That's really cool too.
So, but those are my big ones that I follow.
Very nice. Yeah, Dawn Michelle she's so funny. And you kind of see a little bit more of that too on her members only video. She kind of lets loose some, and she's so funny. And the two of them together, her and Lisa, are
Yeah.
so funny.
I'm liking their little series that they're doing. That I think the last one was shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to learn more about that. So that was really a really good one.
Yeah, I like their timing, like their conversation and their banter with each other. It's pretty great.
Yeah. And so, any questions for me that you've been thinking about?
So, how have how have you been kind of working through all of this at the same time? Is what I want to know, because like you're not only navigating, still kind of learning the tarot, but you're also managing a whole YouTube channel and doing well. Like your channel grows more every day and it's so exciting.
It
Like
is exciting.
how are you able to keep all of that together? Because I'm so one or the other sometimes that I can't imagine doing it all. How do you manage to do both at the same time and still being new?
I piecemeal it. So one of the reasons I started this channel was because I was looking for another YouTuber who was new, and I wanted to learn from them because I could relate to somebody who's new. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't find anybody who was new. Everybody had time under their belt already and then started a channel. So I said, you know what? I'll start a channel as a new person learning the tarot. And so I'll document certain things that I'm doing, like the mentorship, doing Lisa Papez's tarot on training wheels, which I did a, a review of every single time I finished a lesson. I'm doing Michelle's book, Connecting with the Tarot. And so every section I'm doing. So I'm actually doing both, almost like they overlap. And then when I do walkthroughs and stuff, there is a learning process there that happens with me because I'm engaged with each card and like I'm like I don't have a lot to say about this one, but this is what I like about the card. And then I talk
Yeah,
about the card, and then there's some cards that I'm like, oh, I remember this one. So that in itself is a learning process for me.
sure.
Um, the biggest challenge has been is learning how to film a video, edit a video, upload a video, and now the challenge is how do I make the videos more interesting? How do I make them look more polished? So if you
Mm.
saw my, was it the Bohemian Gothic? I had a candle and my little, yes, it was. I
It
had the
was very
little,
aesthetically pleasing.
I was like, oh, well, I didn't think so, but it was me trying. And I was like, oh my God, I'm trying. Um, but really, it doesn't feel like I'm managing it because I'm having so much fun doing it.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
really do want to commend you. Kind of, it's beautiful. Kind of watching you grow as a tarot reader in real time, and that you're right. That is something that isn't really common, and we don't see a lot of people kind of like learning and posting about what they're learning as they're going. So I do commend you. It's amazing to see you grow and all the things that you learn and watch you be more and more successful at the same time. It's
Well, thank
great.
you. Thank you very much. So, what
Yeah.
are your future goals for your channel?
You know, I
Did I ask you this already?
yeah,
I feel like I
but I
kind of
just
did.
want I mean, I don't necessarily have any besides posting more consistently. I just kind
Yeah.
of I want to always keep it in mind that it's supposed to be for fun. Like would I love to eventually have thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers? Sure. But then I think I'm the type of person that would also feel more and more pressure as my numbers go up.
Hmm.
And then I don't know that I would have as much fun. I would have to learn how to kind of keep it fun without putting pressure on myself, which I always do. So,
Hmm. I
but
just find
what
the
are
whole
your
process.
goals?
Oh my God. I did a video. My 1 year anniversary on there. All my goals are on there. Uh, okay, I've already done a couple of them, but I want to, and actually some more. So I want to have my own like little niche that is mine in tarot. And so I'm trying to figure them out, doing the interviews, doing the hashtag 5 decks saved for whatever,
Hmm.
hashtag Saturdays. Um, I want to get to a place where I can start showing spreads and how they work for me or how I use spreads. My fear in that, and it is like, I think it's a justifiable fear. And when I say fear, like nervousness in posting it, because
Sure.
I'm afraid of like people saying that's not how you do it. And the
Criticism is
people
a
have been
real
so
thing.
sweet, but people have been so sweet is really showing how I read the cards together, how
Yeah.
I do a spread, and what that looks like, and how I process the cards, and why it read the way it read to me. I want to be able to do that, and yeah, that's really it. I just want to continue to really enjoy myself. I just want my content to be very varied. I have a lot of walkthroughs, so I want to change that and do other things as well.
Yeah. Would you ever want to, once you're at a place where you feel comfortable enough to, of course, would you ever want to be a mentor yourself for someone new?
Well, I've done mentorship before. I used to be a sign language interpreter,
Oh, cool.
and yeah, I was a nationally certified sign language interpreter for 13 years. And I worked with one of our local colleges, and that had an interpreting program. And so one of the things I did, I mentored a lot of the students. So I've done mentorship. So it's
Okay.
really easy for me to fall back into that. So I think it's years down the line. But
Sure.
yes, I think that would be great. I want to do a Patreon one day, come up with some content that people would find interesting. Um, what I'd like to do, I'm not going to do it, but what I would have loved to have done is write a book on what it was like my first year.
Oh, okay. That would be
Uh,
that'd be an interesting read.
yeah, I think people would like to see. I think people would kind of. So another thing about doing this channel, I think it would take people back to what it was like when they first started reading.
Mm-hmm.
Because I talk about my challenges and my frustrations and feelings of being overwhelmed. Because learning the tarot can feel overwhelming for me sometimes.
It can. There's a whole lot to it. It is 78 cards and that's where the number stops, but within those 78 cards, you have the realm of life. you know. so,
You know what was a really hard struggle, and sometimes it still is this idea of archetypes with the major arcana.
mm,
I've looked up definitions, I've watched videos, I've done all this stuff, and I get it, but sometimes I feel that I don't get it.
sure.
Still, it's still a big challenge for me.
Yeah, it's there's so much to it. But that's why we're always students, right? Like all of the big tarot tubers talk about how they still learn things on a daily basis. And that's but I think that's what the coolest thing about tarot is it's
Yeah.
always evolving and changing and growing. And you're never going to be an expert.
So one of the things that I like to do, or I'm going to start doing, is I like to end my videos by asking, "What advice do you have to somebody who just picked up their first deck of cards today?"
I would say put in the time to get to know the cards where you're comfortable, but don't put so much pressure on yourself to read the same as everybody else. As long as you are, and this is kind of, it's actually something I talked about. I was tagged for the hashtag 54321 tarot,
Mm-hmm.
and I share this piece of advice there too. Essentially, as long as the way that the cards speak to you allows you to evolve into a better version of yourself and it is beneficial in that growth, then you're reading the tarot. It
Yeah.
doesn't, your Six of Swords doesn't have to be my Six of Swords. It means what it means to you, and that is okay. There are so many different ways to read tarot, so you don't have to feel like you have to commit to a certain way. So don't take all that pressure onto yourself about having to know everything immediately and learning one way. If it works for you, it works.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for coming on my channel. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, it was fun. Thank you for having me. When you asked me, I was like, oh, this will be a good time.
Yeah, I'm actually, I've done two, and so I'm actually enjoying it. I have somebody already planned for next month. And
Ooh,
so as soon as we finish, I'm going to reach out to somebody else for January, and then we'll see how many people are willing to come on. But so far, it's
nice.
been fun.
It is a whole lot of fun, and it's a great way to learn about other people too, and actually form connections over tarot tube. So thank
Yeah,
you so
I
much.
completely agree. Well, you're welcome. Thank you. All right. Until next time, my name is Benny, and this is A Fool's Apprentice. Bye, guys.